Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hola, hola, hola. Hey up. How are you doing? Welcome everybody to RJH's weekly YouTube streaming, live stream. Coming tonight, Rob Howitt, RJH Motorbike Training, talking all about CBT. Again, through popular demand, tonight we are talking about CBT. So Tuesday, 20th of April, 2021, RJH Motorbike Training live stream talking all about the CBT. So watch this stream if you're thinking of booking a CBT, or if you're thinking of completing a CBT, if you're thinking of obtaining your full motorbike license, then the CBT is the foundation. So CBT, compulsory basic training, is tonight. So good evening to everybody that is watching. I will be running a competition again, which is proving popular, but what I have on offer is a free CBT, a free weekday CBT valued at £170 across any of our 3 sites, which is Manchester and Wigan or Northwich. Now that free competition is possibly going to be tonight, or it's possibly going to be over the next few live streams. So listen in. But tonight's YouTube live stream is all about the CBT. So the competition, it seems fitting to give away a CBT valued at £170. So as soon as we get up to 100 people watching at a time, that might be tonight, it might be the next live stream, it might be the next couple. Our record, we've only been doing the live streams for about 4 or 5 weeks. Our record is 62 watchers at one time. So I want 100 watchers. Once I reach 100 watchers, I'm going to ask a question. First correct answer will win a free CBT valued at £170. Can't say fairer than that. Fantastic prize. So how are we going to get those 100? How are we going to get competition going? You guys that are watching, you guys and girls that are watching, please like the video and share it. Subscribe. Share the video, comment away. Let's spread the video, get 100 people watching. I'll get that competition going. All right. So CBT is tonight's topic. I want lots of questions coming down that column, that live chat, lots of questions, and we will get back to you. If I don't get back to you, some of my instructors that will be watching will get back to you. So don't be shy. Ask any of those questions that you want. So all is good. 3rd week out of lockdown 3. We are absolutely rammed. We are all working flat out. And I just want to take this opportunity of thanking my team. I'm working flat out. 9-hour days. And my team are working flat out. And we are probably the biggest ATB in the northwest of England as it is. And let me tell you now, we're breaking every record going, and the team are all working their cotton socks off. So a big well done from me. I do say that all the time to them, but anyway, if they're watching. So yeah, who doesn't work 9 days? Yeah, I know. A lot of people don't work 9-hour days. I can tell you that now. But yeah, so welcome everybody to tonight's subject. It's going to be a good one, and it's returned through popular demand, and it's a CBT. I've also changed the night. Tuesday, got another one on Friday, but I thought I'd give Tuesday a go, see if we're getting any different sort of viewing. But I've not really sort of honed in on any particular night doing a live feed, which suits people. Might even try it a little bit later next time. So just to recap, everybody watching, the competition tonight, I am giving away a free CBT weekday worth £170 across all our 3 sites, Wigan, Eccles, Manchester, and Northwich, Cheshire. So a free CBT. As soon as we hit 100 people watching in one go, 100 people watching in one go, that might be tonight, might be next time, might be next week, 2 weeks time. As soon as we get 100, I'm going to ask a question. First correct answer wins that CBT. So it's a very, very good competition prize. So, you know, spread the word through this channel, please. The more people watching, the quicker we get to that 100. All right. So let's get cracking then. CBT. Compulsory basic training. And a lot of you that are watching have possibly done one, but I'm hoping a lot of you are looking at doing one. Yep, so CBT compulsory basic training. Everybody has to do one if they want to get on 2 wheels, apart from who doesn't have to do one? Anybody that passed their car test before April 1st, 2001, I think it is. Yeah, April 1st, 2001. Before that, you can ride a 50cc scooter. So without a CBT. So that is the exception. It might be the February the 1st, 2001. I've had a bit of a brain, F-A-R-T, but February the 1st, 2001 or April the 1st, 2001. I think it's February 2001. Prior to that, you don't have to do a CBT on your car license to ride a 50cc. Anybody after that has to do a CBT to ride up to a 125cc. CBT compulsory basic training introduced in 1990. Wish I could say that was before I was born, but I think I'd be telling a porky there. It was introduced in 1990. Prior to that, you could just jump onto a 250cc motorcycle on your provisional license. So a lot of accidents and beyond fatalities. So the 80s weren't a good time for biking. A lot of youngsters were getting into trouble. So 1990, the government brought out the CBT, and it was brought out for safety, road safety, and to reduce the accidents involving learner motorcyclists. That was the aims. So since that introduction in 1990, accidents have been reduced by between 50 and 70%. So very, very worthwhile. And you know, it has 3 very important aims. Okay, 3 very important aims. Number 1 aim. You know, one here. So you pay your money, you want your goods, don't you? A lot of people do anyway. You pay your money, you want your goods. So when you successfully complete your CBT, you're going to get one of these bad boys. A lot of people frame those. That is a DL 196. It's a CBT certificate, and that enables you to ride if you're 16 or 50, if you're 17 or 125 on the roads, L plates front and back, no passenger, no motorway. So there are restrictions. You need to keep it somewhere safe. You don't need to carry it around with you. Put it in the drawer at home somewhere. But very important that that certificate is available. We notify the authorities, so you don't need to worry about that. If you lose it, you will pay to get another copy, and the only place you can get a copy of that certificate is from the ATB that actually issued it. So be very, very careful with it. So the CBT introduced in 1990. Okay, 3 aims. Number 1, get that certificate. And you know what you can do with that now, enables you to do. Yeah. So the other 2 aims are that on receipt of that certificate, you'll be able to contribute to maintaining that reduction in accidents involving learners, and you'll be able to contribute to improving road safety generally. So 3 real important aims of the CBT. Now, there are ATBs up and down the country that conduct CBT, so do your homework, look at the reviews, listen to your friends that have done them, and choose your bike school. Okay, an RJH bike school has a very good reputation in the Northwest, and we have been conducting CBTs for 20 years since we started. Well, 18 years, coming up to 19 years, we have been conducting CBTs very successfully, I might add. I can still remember my first 2 trainees on Saturday, the 8th of March, 2003. It was Maria Houston and Karen Jones, and they both did their CBTs with me, and they were the first CBTs that RJH conducted at Congleton High School, Box Lane in Congleton, Cheshire, Saturday, the 8th of March, 2003. And we've had thousands and thousands and thousands of trainees come through the school since then. So we know what we're doing. So pick your school, and then it's very, very important that you arrive on time, okay? If you want to arrive on time, get there a bit earlier. And if I say that only last week, something happened, and I've not had it in 20 years of teaching. And that is that somebody arrived 2 hours late for their CBT, and they expected to jump on the course and complete it. And we have a very strict, as you'll find out in a minute, a syllabus that we need to follow. And we commence a CBT at 8 o'clock, and we lock the gates at 8:15. And this particular incident was somebody that was 2 hours late, wanted to jump on the course, and yes, you guessed it, they've kicked off. So I had to intervene, and basically all the threats and everything came out. And eventually, because of the young gentleman getting quite physically violent, the police were called. Yeah, first time in 20 years. So, you know, save us all that. We offer a very good service up and down the country. All the training schools, they work really, really hard conducting these CBTs and introducing people. So get to your school on time. You know, get everything prepped beforehand. Get there on time. It's your responsibility to get there on time, and you'll have a fantastic day. We're here to help you. All right, we are here to help you. And also make sure you take your license. You will need a driver's license, whether that's a provisional or a full car license. You need a license with the category that you're learning to ride on. So make sure you take your license. Make sure you wear appropriate gear. So we have lads come along in flip-flops and think they can get on the scooter because that's what they do when they're in a foreign country. No, you're not going to get on a bike, certainly not going to get on our bike in flip-flops. So you need sturdy footwear, denim jeans as a minimum. But yeah, be sensible about the time that you arrive for your CBT, and be sensible about what you wear to your CBT. And most training schools, like ourselves, provide all of the basics. So we provide helmet, gloves, jacket, and trousers. We don't provide footwear. But we also advise that anything of your own, bring it. So if you've got any of your own gear, bring it. You will feel a lot more comfortable. And certainly at the moment with the COVID, we certainly recommend that you if you've got your own, bring it. Okay. So arrive at your ATB, your bike school, on time, a little bit earlier, and arrive with the correct documentation, and arrive wearing appropriate gear. You know, and just because it's summertime, you can still get cold when you're out on the roads because of the wind chill. So bear that in mind. Bear all of that in mind. It makes you a lot less stressful in those first sort of 10-15 minutes when you arrive at your training school. Now, RJH Manchester has a very, very good reputation. Very good. And if you want to look after the instructors, and it don't even matter really, I suppose, where you are up and down the country, but our training centre manager in Manchester is partial to a chocolate hobnob. So if you want your instructor to get on the good side of him, chocolate coated hobnobs. All right. So that's what you need to do. So there's a little bit then about the CBT, why you need to do it, and a little bit about what you're able to do when you get it, and also about getting there on time, wearing the right gear, and bringing the right documentation. Okay. So tonight, ladies and gents, RJH Motorbike Training live stream. Rob Howitt. Yeah, I'm going to be pretty much on my own. Charlie tonight is football practice. He does a bit of football. So tonight he's not really going to be attending. So I'm on my own. I'm riding solo. I'm presenting solo. And what I'm after, ladies and gents, as soon as possible, is 100 people watching at the same time. And I'll open up that competition. I'm offering a free CBT, £170 weekday CB3 across all 3 of our sites. I want 100 people watching at once. And we're up to sort of mid-20s at the moment. Record is 62. I might not get 100 tonight, but that competition is there, ready and waiting. I'll open it up as soon as I get 100. So please, you know, spread the word of the live video. Lots of useful information coming your way. So what is involved on the CBT then? I suppose when you arrive at your ATB, first thing that's going to do is check all your documents. So our instructors, and we've got a lot of good instructors on board now conducting CBTs, and you know, they offer a very, very good CBT. We look after our trainees across all our sites. We look after all of our trainees, and you know, we're all equal. We're all there to help each other out. So you know, that's what happens. Now, there's 5 parts to the CBT, and you've got to go in those order. If you think of 5 elements, A, B, C, D, and E. A, B, C, D, and E. A is an introduction to the CBT. B is practical on-site training. C is practical on-site riding. D is practical on-road training, bit of a classroom talk, and E is practical on-road riding. So 5 parts, A, B, C, D, and E. And I'm just going to go through all of those, and then you can fire away any questions, and I will get back to you at some point. So let's see who's watching then, ladies and gents. Good evening then, Lisa. Yeah, welcome. Lisa looks after all the tests in RJH. She is one of the directors of RJH. There's 2 directors of the company. There's myself and Lisa. And Lisa's involvement over the last 10 years has been invaluable. And she looks after all the tests and naming all the tests. And bearing in mind at any one time we can have between 200 and 250 full license candidates on the books at one time. So that's quite a big, and Lisa is on the DBSA online booking facility numerous times during the day, getting the tests and allocating the tests to all you good people that are learning to ride. Yazans, good evening. Darren, good evening again, mate. Matt, good evening. Sylvia, welcome. Sylvia, RJH Northwich and RJH Wigan multi-site, RJH multi-site training centre manager. Yazins, I have a CBT booked, and I've just realised that the bike MOT will finish before I complete the CBT. With insurance, it's still possible to take the motorbike for the MOT, or do I need it collected? You can ride a bike to an MOT station for its MOT, even if it's expired. If you're riding it to the appointment for the MOT, you can ride it, but you will therefore have to have a CBT. You'd have to have an insurance. But yeah, your MOT doesn't have to be, it can be invalid, but you're riding to the MOT station to the appointment. So that is the law. Who doesn't work 9 hours? Yeah, and do just thought it was normal. Darren, if you book it prior, then there should be no issues if you have had a valid insurance certificate yet. Sylvia, 9-day weeks. Yes, they are, Sylvia. Most of the instructors are working 9 days in 7 because they're working long hours at the moment. Not just because of the backlog, but because we are very busy as well. Yazins, yeah, see, I'll have my CBT at 20th of June. Need to learn some highway code. Yeah, you do. It's not a test, though, mate. Just have a general understanding. Have a basics, you know, general understanding, and you will be fine. DVSA online training, Scuba, can't remember the price. Sorry, £23 for a theory test. Scuba download free apps. Yeah, I already passed my CBT on April. I just like to come here to learn. Well done, Laughing Dog. Yeah, so tonight again, I'm doing, this is a second CBT session. Last one was really popular, and it's come back through demand. So yeah, keep visiting, mate. Keep sharing. James Jarvis, 46-year-old, and doing mine Saturday. Is it a midlife crisis? Hope not too late. That's not a midlife crisis, James. You're only a youngster, mate. But yeah, no, you'll love it. Have a good day. You'll love it. Where are you doing your CBT, Mr. Jarvis? Anyone know how much theory test is? 23 quid, yeah. Scuba, my date on my provisional is different to my address. My date on my provisional is different to my address. Now, would it be an issue to do my CBT, or will I have to change it before I have to do my test? No, you'd be okay. Your address, your driver number is unique. If you tell them that you just changed address, and they'll have to write the CBT to the address that's on your license. So that's not a problem, because your driver number is unique to you. So that's not a problem. Yeah, James Jarvis, have my CBT made. I'll be 50 just after, not a midlife crisis, a midlife awakening, like to think. Well done, Darren. Yes, it is. Lisa, Charlie. Yeah, all right, Charlie. Matthew, how many faults can you do on a full test? Module 1, 5 faults and pass. 6 is a fail. Module 2, 10 faults. 11 is a fail. Any one serious, any one dangerous is a fail. Watch your videos, very informative. They are very informative. There's lots of information here. You just ask questions, we'll get back to you. Lots of information. When you come for the CBT, do you need your gear in advance? Jacket, boots, it would help. Yeah, it would help. If you've got your own, yeah, use it. If not, you can use the schools. Most schools provide all of the gear. Scuba, you need to drive a record, yeah. Do I take the code to do a full? We've got lots of questions here. So we've got a few people good answering. Lisa, Sylvia answering. Full car license category. Do I need anything else for the CBT at all, please? No, that category, Darren S, that category A, it's confusing that when you got to do, if you've got a full car license, you've got that category on the front of your card, which says that you've got the full license for a motorcycle, but you haven't. If you turn it over, you've got your restriction 79.3, which means you can ride a tricycle, not a motorcycle. So that is absolutely fine for your CBT. Just get your driver record off the gov.doc website, Darren, and you will be good to go. No, you don't take the code, Darren. Just do it all yourself, mate, at home. Or what we can do, if you were coming to us, we just say bring your phone, bring your national insurance number, and we can access it online. What happens if the bike I'm using break down or cause an accident, which is not down to rider error? Yeah, well, then obviously there's an insurance matter, isn't it? But if the bike that you're using breaks down, then you should get a re-CBT from the school, unless they can get a bike to you and you can complete it on the day. There shouldn't be any expense to you. But if your bike is involved in an accident, it's not your fault. Then obviously, yeah, I mean, you're not going to be penalised for that, but you know, the insurance will take over from that. How much does an MOT cost? Oh, it's about 30 quid. Quick look on Google, somebody, motorcycle MOT. It's a standard price. I think it's about £28, if I'm not wrong. Evening, just joined. Have you or will you be doing any lives for Mod 1 and 2? Thanks, guys. Yes, Paris, Alexandris. Go back on this live feed playlist. Last week was Module 2. The week before was Module 1. So you can watch them all again. You can watch all the live feeds again, but yeah, I will be going through those again. But if you look back on this playlist, they are all there. MOT about 35 quid. Thanks, Sylvia. No laughing dog. You cannot ride a 50cc moped on a motorway. No, I think the minimum is a 90cc. But no, you can ride a 50cc on your full car license if you pass before February the 1st, 2001. You can ride a 50cc. You can take the L plates off, carry a passenger on the back, but you cannot go on the motorway. No, it's too small. You wouldn't want to go on a motorway on a 50cc. Who'd want to go on the motorway on a 50cc? Whew, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? I heard you won't let you use your bike for a test if it has a fault light. Yeah, probably not. Probably not. It needs to be roadworthy. Didn't have my national insurance card, but I do have it on my payslip. So will that be okay? Yes, it will be. Yes, it will be. That is fine. So good. What are we in? 25 minutes. Oh, we think we peaked at about 23, which I'm not too concerned about. But ladies and gents, RJH live feed discussing everything about CBT. Competition is a free CBT. Monday to Friday, CBT valued at £170. It could be at our Manchester site, it could be our Eccles site, it could be at our Wigan site. So £170 CBT going. Competition, I will open up once we get 100 people watching at the same time. Bit of a tall ask, but that's what we're after. And whether that's tonight or whether it's over the next few weeks. The only way we're going to do that is if you guys keep watching, keep commenting, keep spreading the word. And we really, really do appreciate all of the viewers watching and commenting. Okay, so CBT then, we got there. You've done all the document checks. And your instructor's happy with that, and you're up there nice early on time. You've got all your own gear. One first thing that you're going to get done then is the eyesight check. So we get the eyesight check done straight away. So if you wear glasses, don't forget them. If you wear glasses, don't forget them. You will be reading a number plate from 20.5 meters. And that's generally at the beginning. So if there's any problems with that, then, you know, you don't commence the CBT. But you do need to be able to read a number plate from 20.5 meters. So if you wear glasses, do not forget them. Put them with your license, ready for when you leave the house in the morning. Okay? And then the CBT will commence. So element A is probably going to be, and we generally will look at about 45 minutes for element A. So if you all arrive on time at 8 o'clock with us, looking at about 8:15 by the time the documents are checked and the eyesight checks done, it's generally starting about 8:15, 8:15. So element A will take you up. A good element A, thorough element A, with good interaction from you guys and girls, will take 45 minutes. So you'll finish element A about 9 o'clock as a guide. Now, element A, you're going to be talking about the introduction, the aims, what's involved in the CBT. I'm going to go on to that in a moment. And then you're also then going to be talking about the helmets, styles, materials, all about helmets. And then you're going to be talking about your clothing, wearing your clothing, what clothing you need to wear, why you need to wear the clothing. And, you know, so a 45-minute discussion. Now, as far as what is involved, as we say, element A, introduction. Element B, you'll be talking, you'll be going on to the training facility, which, you know, could be walk around the back, or some schools still, I mean, we did in the early days, get in a car and go up to the local school where we did it. But all of our sites now, everything is on site. So the classroom is at the yard. So we don't have to do any transporting anywhere, which again eats away at the time. But element B, the practical on-site training, you're going to be looking at the bike. You're going to become familiar with the motorcycle controls and how they work. Element B, you're going to be looking at daily checks and weekly checks. And we use Best Cops. Some schools do, some schools don't. But it's so you have an understanding of being able to carry out machine checks daily and weekly. Then you're going to be looking at taking the bikes on and off the stands satisfactorily. and also starting and stopping the bikes, wheeling the bikes around using the front brake to stop. So element B is about another 45 minutes. Now element A, you are looking at the introduction, helmets and clothing. The whole objective is to get as much of an understanding out of that as possible. So when you come to us, you at the end of, so somebody will say to me, I've put my CBT on Saturday, I want to go and get some bike stuff, what do I get? So what we tend to say is, well, look, wait until you do your CBT, because once you've done your CBT, you'll have a better idea about what you want to go and buy and where you want to get it from. So in element A, introduction on the CBT, when we talk about helmets and clothing and everything, at the end of it, the idea is that you will have a better understanding about what you want to go and buy. So you might not want to spend £50 for a plastic helmet. You might rather spend £300 for a tri-composite helmet, and you'll understand why, what the differences are. At the end of it, you might think, well, no, I'm not going to get a leather pair of trousers now. I'm going to get a Gore-Tex pair of trousers, and you'll have an understanding as to why, because it's so that you have a better understanding at the end of it as what you want to go and buy. And remember, all of this CBT, it's not a test. None of it is a test. It's a course of safety. Let's come back in then. Stefan, good evening again. I have a full Dan modelling fan. I have a full car license. Can I book a bike theory test without bike code entitlement on my license? Thanks. You should have a bike code entitlement on your license, Dan. If it's not on the card part of your license, it'll be on your driver record, I would think. So you're looking for category A if you want a motorcycle. But yeah, you should have it on there. Do you do a CBT to DAS subject to completing the theory test? What are the costs? We do on demand. We do CBT up to full license, and the costs are all on our website, rjhgroup.co.uk. If you want a call, somebody can contact you and go through what price course, what would be recommended for you, because all the prices really are dependent on your ability. Okay. When I did my CBT, the instructor said I was using back brake more than front when I was emergency braking. I tried to explain the brakes was linked. Yeah, some brakes are. The instructor should know that. But yeah, the most effective way of braking in a straight line in an emergency situation is front brake followed by back brake. And sometimes they are linked, yeah. The little 125 YSI, the little yammies were linked. On my CBT, we were not shown the stands, and so, but did do a figure eight emergency stop and went on the road. It was a fun day. Yeah, well, you should know. You should have done the stands. It's very important. Element B. Element B is bike controls, how they work, how they don't work, maintenance, daily checks and weekly checks, on and off the stands satisfactorily, wheeling the bike around in a figure eight, bringing it to stop using the front brake, and starting and stopping the bike, and that's element B. And that element B should be another 45 minutes. If it's thorough, you're looking at a 45-minute. We aim for sub 45 minutes and sub. So we like our trainees on the bikes for element C by 10 o'clock. No corner cutting, but yes, it's not uncommon to hear that. Northeast Gaz, that yeah, I mean, it's a very important thing. You should be able to use the stands. Good thing about helmets is that you can carry it over when you get new gear, so might as well price up. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's an investment on your head. How many heads do you get? Only get one. What price do you put on your head? Maximum, I would say, you want to be looking at 5 years. So 5 years, get it replaced. Okay, no matter what the material is. So element B, it's really important. Element A is really important. Element C. Then you go on to your Element C. So once again, thanks very much for watching, everybody. RJH Motorbike Training live stream. Tuesday, the 20th of April, 2021. We are talking all about CBT, compulsory basic training. We are conducting another live stream on that subject due to popular demand. It went down very, very well last time, so I thought I would commit another one midweek on Tuesday. But good evening, Graham. Once again, to let everybody know, the competition tonight is a free CBT valued at £170, a weekday CBT which can be taken over any of our three sites, Manchester, Wigan or Northwich. Now, to open up the competition, I want 100 people watching the live stream. That might be tonight, it might not, it might be next week, it might be the week after, but we are wanting to grow the live stream. So the more of you that watch and comment and like the video and share will enable us to get there quicker. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for watching. So Element A and Element B. We'll then move on to Element C. So this is the interesting bit. This is the bit that people like. And, you know, this is what Element C has about 9 different exercises, and we can only go through Element C at the pace of the rider. So I'd like to say to you that it's 2 hours. I'd like to say it's 5 hours. I'd like to say there is a time on it, but there is not. So we start Element C at 10 o'clock, but we are looking at a cut-off point of about 1 o'clock. And if we're not at a point where we're road ride ready, there's more classroom stuff after, but if we're not at the point where we're road ride ready by 1 o'clock, we invite our trainees to come back for more training, because you've got another 45 minutes and a bit of lunch as well, but you've also then got to go on the road for 2 hours. So this is where the syllabus needs to be covered, and you know, it's got to go in an order, and we've got to get cracking with it. So, you know, if you arrive in 2 hours late, then, you know, it's just not possible. Going back to Element A, before, get there on time, wear all that right gear, make sure you got your documents, make sure you got your glasses. Yeah, all these things are really, really important. But Element C started about 10 o'clock, and we have generally a cut-off point about 1 o'clock. And if we're not ready for the road ride, then you're invited back to do a little bit more training. And it isn't a fail. You mustn't think of it as a fail. It just means that you're not quite ready at that one time to get on the road. So what is involved with Element C then? We hear all sorts of horror stories about people saying, yeah, I just had a ride around a couple of cones, and then he said, come on, we'll go on the road. Well, there's a bit more to it than that. There is a bit more to it than that. So what's the first thing we do on a CBT? Well, the aim of the first exercise is the pupil must ride the machine under control in a straight line and bring it to a halt using the brakes and in the control position. Now, how you get that achieved might take you 5 minutes, might take you half an hour. But if it's taking you an hour to do that, then you're going to be eaten up into your time. Bearing in mind, you've got 9 exercises, but we will go at your pace. We can only go at your pace, but that is the first exercise. The pupil must ride the machine under control in a straight line and bring it to a halt using the brakes and in the control position. Section number 2, or module, call them modules. Elements, there's 5, A, B, C, D, and E. Modules, 1, 2, 3, yeah, call it a module. So module 2 of Element C is the pupil must be able to ride the machine slowly in a straight line. And that's using the coordination of your gas clutch, feather the clutch, rear brake. Okay, gas clutch, feather in the clutch, and rear brake, and using all those smoothly. That is element 2, or module 2 of element C. Okay, so the pupil must be able to ride the machine slowly in a straight line. So who have we got on? Few more then. Graham. Hey up, Graham. Jerry, thanks for joining us. Faceless vlogger. I've done my CBT and passed years ago with ease, but didn't end up getting a bike. This time I will redo my CBT, but I'm thinking, do I just redo my CBT or do my direct access and get the full license? That's what you've got to decide to do, mate. But yeah, a lot of people will go the full hog, get the full license done. You know, other people just do the CBT. Just got to look at your own circumstances. But yeah, you can't put a price on good training and get your full license. That is what I would say. Or, you know, do your CBT and listen to your instructor. Your instructor can give you advice based on your ability. Faceless, if you are thinking of getting something bigger than the 125, then go for your full license. You won't regret it. No, he won't. Faceless, get your full license. Well done, Sylvia. These are girls here telling you, Faceless Vlogger, to get your full license. I really enjoyed my CBT, did it on a Grom. Yeah, we love the Groms and it was so much fun. Got my Mod 2 on Friday and it sure feels like a long time ago now with all this COVID stuff. Oh, never. Have you watched our videos, Nanil? And we have a Module 2 live stream which is available for you to watch on this playlist from last week. We talked about Module 2 last week. I went through the whole Module 2 report. Let us know how to get on our Friday's live feed. So yeah, go back to last week's live feed. It's all on there. Love the CBT, did it on my own bike. It has changed for the better. Yeah, well, believe it or not, Matt, the CBT hasn't changed from when it was first introduced. The syllabus is still the same, but the standard of CBTs have changed and the quality of the ATBs have changed over the years. I've watched them at least twice. Watched last week's live and the when I sat it. Brilliant, good stuff. Rob, evening, Rob. Looking forward to the CBT on Saturday on the Essex coast. Oh, the sun will be shining down there. Lovely. Groms are small, but they are fun. Okay, so good. Let's move on to Element C still. Element C, Module 3. It's exercise 3. The pupil must understand how to use the brakes. And this is where you'll have a marked spot and be riding around the pad and using your brakes to stop in the correct way. Front brake, back brake, clutch. Or roll off the throttle, front brake, back brake, clutch. Or A, B, C. You know, whatever works for you. But in a straight line, the most effective way of braking is front brake followed by back brake. Okay. And a question, who can answer this question then? Little question for you. What happens if you bring your clutch in before the brakes? There's a little question, see if anybody is paying any attention. So we just touched 29 people watching at once. So we only want another 70. What do you think? How can we get up to that 100? How can we get up to that 100? So the question is, what is it called if you bring your clutch in before the brakes? What can it cause? So it is called coasting. Well done, Chief. And it can cause skidding. Well done, Sergeant. And for those that don't know, the Chief, Graham Cook, aka the Chief, Sylvia Eager, aka the Sergeant. Okay, so Mr. Cook, the Chief. It will stall. Not if you bring your clutch in before the brakes, it won't stall, Matt. It'll speed up and possibly cause skidding. Loss of control. Freewheeling, no control. Well done, Darren S. No engine braking. Slower to stop, longer to stop. Well done, Rob Wolf. Laughing dog, you disengage from the engine. Yes, you do. Charlie Sipton, good evening, Chief. Follow me. Coasting. Coasting is the word. Can cause skidding, amongst other things. I'm waiting to do my CBT. I've learned so much watching your videos. Fantastic to hear, Jerry. Now, you also lose engine braking. You do. Engine braking is good. It's the most controlled and inexpensive way of braking. Less wear and tear. Evening, Lord Charles. You can drop the bike. You could drop the bike. Yes, you could drop the bike. So there's just one question. We're about 20 answers there. That's good. I might come in with another question in a minute then. So yeah, Module 3, Element C, the pupil must understand how to use the brakes. Another little question then while we're on brakes. Brakes is a really important thing on a CBT. Braking on a CBT is really important. And when you go around and watching CBTs, the standard of instruction is really poor. You know, so where should you avoid using your front brake? I mean, it's so simple. Where should you avoid using your front brake? ABS does help a lot. We've got a few bikes. All of our big bikes now have ABS, anti-lock braking system. But there's a question for you. Where should you avoid using your front brake? I'm after two answers. I'm after two answers. Where should you not use your front brake? There's a correct answer there. Corners, bends. Yeah, there's one. Corners and bends. Same sort of thing, really, turning when the wheels aren't upright. But the other time that we recommend you do not use your front brake, and that is on its own. You always want to use that front brake with the back brake or followed by the back brake. Yeah. So yeah, any slow speed maneuvers, if you've got that feathering of the clutch, if you're slipping that clutch, you don't want the front brake, correct? So there's actually three places then. Yeah. So we don't want to be using the front brake. We don't recommend, we don't teach, and we never say never. We never say never, and we never say always. Two things you don't say as an instructor. Never say never, never say always. But we would recommend not using that front brake on a corner, on a turn, a slow speed when you're doing that slow speed, slipping the clutch, and also, and what was the other one? When you're don't use it on its own. Okay, so braking is a really important. A lot of people are scared of the front brake, but that front brake can be your best friend. It's not. It's all about where you use it and how you use it. Correct, laughing dog. Correct. Right, so Element C, Module 4 is the pupil must be able to change gears satisfactorily. So really what we want you doing is first, second, few goes at that. Stopping in first, first to second, stopping in first. And then, you know, depending on the size of the yard, but most yards you should be able to get up to third. So then you want to go 1, 2, 3, down to 2, up to 3, down to 2. So you sort of go round the yard in 2, up to 3 on the straights, down 2 on the bend, up to 3 on the straights, down to 2 on the bends, stopping in gear 1. We always recommend stopping in the gear that you're going to move off in. Okay, and a lot of people get flappy about the gear changes. Car drivers get flappy, but it's the same principle. It's just the coordination. And once you master it, it's really, really easy. We always recommend traveling in the highest possible gear for the speed. Better for the environment, less wear and tear on the bike, and better for your pocket. So one little question on gears then. Where should we avoid changing gears? So where should we avoid changing gears? There's a little question for you. See who's got that one. So where should we avoid changing gears? That's a good question, isn't it? So we're going to have a little recap again then, ladies and gents. Welcome to RJH Motorbike Training live stream, all discussing all about CBT compulsory basic training. We've come back to it due to popular demand. A lot of people ask for CBT, and here we are. We listen to our viewers, very, very important. So if there's any subjects yet, we have got a lot planned. Competition time, ladies and gents. I am giving away a free CBT valued at £170. So it's a weekday CBT. Can be taken at our Wigan, Northwich or Manchester training school. So all I'm looking for is 100 viewers watching at the same time. 100 viewers watching at the same time, and I will open up the competition. Okay, our record in the short time we've been doing the live streams is 62. So when I get to 100, I will open up that competition for the free CBT. So please do spread this video which way you can. So yes, we shouldn't be changing gears on in corners. Yeah, well done. Same as brakes. Turning into a new road, hills don't change halfway up, yeah, or unless you change down to get more. So yes, gears really, I'll link it in with the brakes, and if you're approaching bends, you should get the speed down on approach, and you should get your gear change on approach before the bend, so you're riding the bend. It's all about that forward planning, isn't it? Forward planning. And so you're on the bend in the right gear at the right speed. Right, so I want a little question on the gears, because gears again is worth spending a bit of time on, especially on the CBT. The gear changes is worth getting it right. So if you're coming down from a higher gear to a lower gear, tell me the process. What is the system of changing down gears? What the clutch, gear, what? So how do you change down gears? See if anybody can come up with that one. Yeah, so I know when we change up the gears, then we close the throttle, you disengage the clutch, you select the higher gear, you engage your clutch, and then you open up the throttle. So how do you do it the other way round? I wonder, advisors, are there any rules on having them up whilst riding in good condition? Are there any issues with this? No, there's not. But just make sure your eyes have some glasses, possibly. Some off the gas clutch select. Darren, no, that is not back off the throttle. Let the engine brake, then drop down as the sleep in it. No idea. I'd like to know. Yes, it's a real important one, Gingerhead Man. Clutch down. And when somebody, if I don't talk through somebody, and I do this in the brief, and if you look on the YouTube channel, there's a really good briefs on gear changes. Coming down the gears is the same. A, B, C. Off the gas, front brake, back brake, clutch in. And there, all the answers are coming in. Off the gas, clutch in, coasting. Off the gas, clutch in, coasting. Get those brakes working. The benefits are, if you don't get your speed down, you could possibly go down a gear and match that lower gear with a higher speed because you've not slowed down. That can cause the back wheel locking up. But if you're not using your brakes, you're not signaling, your brake light's not coming on, you're not warning the guy behind. So if you come off the gas, use your brakes, slow the vehicle down, then you're going to match the lower gear with the lower speed, so the control's a lot better. But all the time as well, the guy behind, he's backed off because you're slowing down. So we always recommend brakes. Always recommend brakes before you down gear. Okay? And that's really valuable advice, that is. Real valuable advice. And as you can see there, Sylvia's coming with that because she is one of my instructors and she has been trained well. In the process of trying to convince the wife to do a CBT. Good luck, Michaelo, but don't persuade. Don't push. Don't pressure. We see it day in and day out. Let your young lady, if she wants to do it, let her do it herself. Don't pressure her. We can always tell. The engine makes a hell of a noise when you do that. Yes, good to know. Thank you. Yeah, no, that's valuable. Good. Richard Sankey, why are you blanking me? Who's blanking you, Richard? Who's blanking Richard? Send them to me, Richard. I'll sort them out. Yeah, so it's crept up a little bit there. Yeah, questions, good. Yeah, some good answers in there. So that's all good stuff, isn't it? Let's move then down to stay on element C, and we're going on to module number 5. And the pupil must be able to ride the machine around in a figure of 8. And this is a slow speed exercise. It's also on the module 1 test. Yeah, so figure of 8, slow speed. CBT, but you also do this on a module 1 on the bigger bike. But it's all about control again. Slipping the clutch, throttle, rear brake, getting those three controls working together. And figure of 8, not after you're doing it on as small as you can, it's quite a generous figure of 8. But if there's one thing then on a figure of 8 that will help you get around successfully, what is it? And if I say there's one thing that really works, and when the penny drops and a rider starts to do it, they master it so easy. So what's the one thing that works? Yeah, people get phobias about the cones. And you do an 8 and then they do a 10. They just can't, and they go where you don't want them to go. People get really, really intense about these cones. And it's, yeah, a lot of built up pressure there. But yeah, so I would say that you're all spot on. The biggest thing, one thing I would say that works and can see a real big difference when somebody starts to look where they want to go. And you may have heard that your hands will follow your eyes. Your hands will follow your eyes. So look, turn your head. And you can turn your head without your body. When people get really stiff and all like a wooden board, turn your head without your body, and they're going around like this and it's not working. Well, hello, turn your head. Yeah, it is possible. So once you start looking, it is a lot easier. Yeah, well done. Those are good answers. Well done. So CBT Element C, Module 5 is how ride around in a figure of 8. Just going back to this Element C, the Element C, the order that I'm going through here is the order that you teach a learner, but it can be done in any order, subject to the ability of the rider. So if you did yours in a different order to this, it's not a problem. Your instructor just felt that was the order to do it in. So this is the one that we can massage what's involved in it to suit you. Laughing dog, you must admit I need to work on my U-turns for my DAS. Yeah. What are you struggling with? Might be able to give you some tips. Might be able to give you some tips on your U-turns, mate. What are you struggling with? Because on module 1 it is 7.5 meters, and you get a tank around there. You would get a tank around there. So Element C, Module 6 is the pupil must be able to bring the machine to a stop under full control as in an emergency. And all of these exercises are available on our YouTube channel. There are videos, they're all there. So feel, you can always go and have a look at these, but an emergency stop. And it's again, a very, very important one. And when you say to a lot of the trainees, when you ask a lot of trainees about the emergency stop, have you ever had to do one? Quite a lot of people say, yeah, I had to do one yesterday, or yeah, I had to do one last week. You think, blimey. Well, I can remember I had to do an emergency stop. That's me. I can remember having to do an emergency stop, and that was in January 1983. And in January 1983, I was 17 years old, and I had to do an emergency stop on my car test. Yeah, that's how long. So I haven't done an emergency stop. I don't do them. Now, whatever, call it what you want. Oh, I must be lucky. Yeah, maybe then. But you can reduce the likelihood of having to do an emergency stop by planning ahead. If you ride around like a bloody lunatic, you're going to have to do them. If you ride around with your eyes closed, you're going to have to look at them. You have to do one. If you're riding around, you've got your head looking the opposite way where you're going, you're going to have to do them. So if you anticipate stuff and read the road and read the situation, be sensible and don't go speeding, then, you know, you can reduce the likelihood of having to do an emergency stop. But then, you know, you might have to do one. So, yeah, ABC, front brake, back brake, clutching, leave the gears alone. Your engine braking can help you stop. And progressive with the brakes. Don't yank them. Don't panic on them. Use your brakes firmly but progressively. And then you want to be thinking about when you've stopped, you're the hazard, have a look around before you do anything. But the quickest, the biggest thing about an emergency stop, the biggest contributor to emergency stop is your reaction time. So the quicker you respond to that hazard, the quicker you will stop. Simple as that. The quicker you respond, the quicker you will stop. What about skidding? What would happen if you skid then, ladies and gents? And who knows what braking pressure you should be using on brakes? Wet conditions, dry conditions, is it different? But what would you do if you're skidding? So there's another few questions for you. So all looking good. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Keep comment away, keep liking. Almost 30. Get rid of that. What's that doing? In almost 30 years, no road experience. I've booked my CBT for next month. Can't wait. A little late to the party, but better late than never. No, good man. That's there's always a time. It's your time. That's the way to look at it, mate. It is your time now. And stalls. Release the brakes. Down. Skid. Loss of control. Release and reapply steadily. Yes. So if you do feel you're skidding, release the brakes, reapply. Let go and reapply. Good. Come off the brakes if skidding and then reapply. Well done, Rob. Reapply. Yes, good. Those are the correct answers. Now, what about then? What about your braking pressures? What should that be? What should your braking pressures be? Wet conditions and dry conditions. What would the correct braking pressures be? Progressive is a really important word, Darren, when you're using your brakes. You don't want to be snatching them, panicking at them. That is the last thing that you want to do. So we're still looking for braking pressures, ladies and gents. Dry 70-30, wet 50-50. Wet 50-50, dry 70-30. Darren, yeah, but which is which then? 70-30, is that 70 back, 30 front? What is it? 70-30, dry, 60-40 wet, depending circumstances. So is it more pressure on the front, less on the back in dry conditions? 70 front, 30 back. Well done, Darren S. There's a future instructor in the making. Darren S is from up in the Highlands. Up in the Highlands. So yes, good answers. The correct answers. So yeah, and there are 3 reasons associated to skidding. In priority, 3 reasons for skidding. So what would be the top, middle and bottom causes of skidding? Who's got those for me? Who's got the top, middle and bottom reasons of skidding in priority? If that makes sense. So who's got that answer? We've got some good answers. Oil, ice, gravel. You're not wrong, but you're not right, Matt. You're not wrong, but you're not right. Loss of traction is one. Yeah, but there's 3 reasons associated with skidding. And I'm going to go through them now. Poor road surface. Yeah, you're not wrong, Honda man. You're not wrong. You're not right. So number 1, the first reason is you guys, yourself. So it's what we call rider error. Rider error. Now that might be getting the braking wrong, so back brake before the front, or might be getting the pressures wrong. Might be the gas, you've opened it. It might be the clutch is coming before the brakes. It might be too harsh with the brakes. You know, there's so many reasons that you could skid, which would fall under the umbrella of being the rider error. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is the machine. So it could be underinflated tires. It could be no grip. Tread depth is low. It could be the brake pads have gone. So it's mechanical error. It's a brake, you know, the poor bike, mechanical. So number 1 is you. Number 2 is mechanical. And the last one is the weather, road surfaces. And what you should be doing is riding according to those surfaces. So you should be riding according to the weather and the road surface. So those are 3 orders of skidding. Yes, the minimum tread depth is 1 millimeter on a 125 and above. Minimum. Gingerbread man, yes, it's you, your bike, and the weather. Well done. Good answers. Lord Rob, hey, thank you, Dave. I did see that, mate. We do like Google reviews, and what we've started, we've got three sites which have Google reviews, and we we have a good Google review presence. And what we've started finding are a lot of our YouTube viewers have left us reviews, you know, up and down the country. So it's not just the people that we look after on a day-to-day basis, but also people that we help on the online. So thank you very, very much, Dave. So just joined us. So Dave, yeah, welcome. So recap again. RJH motorbike training live stream Tuesday the 20th of April 2021, talking all about CBT. Thank you all very much for joining and contributing. Tonight's competition prize, well, it might not be given away tonight, but we are offering a free CBT. Now, this is worth £170. It's a weekday CBT and can be taken across all of our 3 sites, Wigan, Manchester or Northwich. The competition, I will open up a question. First question answer wins the prize, but we will not open the competition until we get 100 viewers at one time. Our record has been 62. So what I'm looking at is breaking that and getting 100 people watching the live stream at once. Once we receive that, I will open up the competition and somebody will be fortunate to win a free CBT. And that, you know, you can, if you want a voucher, a gift voucher, you can give it to somebody. Then that's absolutely fine. We can arrange for that. But that's a prize. So anyway, and emergency stop. Okay, so a little bit of a discussion there. And yeah, it's again a very, very important exercise to get right on your CBT. Right, element C, Module 7 is all about rear observations. All these subjects, I've got videos on the YouTube channel. So we've got rear observations, 2 different types. So you need to understand and demonstrate how to carry out rear observations correctly. And most of you will know that you've got 2 types of rear observations. You've got your mirrors, and you're looking over your shoulders, your lifesavers. So mirrors nice and regularly, lifesavers, changing lanes, overtaking, checking the blind spots. So the rear observations is a really, really important subject. These are all really important subjects. And it's all about getting you nice and comfortable on your bike before we get out onto the open road. Because if we can't get you comfortable and up to a standard on the training yard, then the road's we're gonna struggle. So yeah, rear observations is a really important one, and I suppose highlight as well, because on a bike you are a lot more vulnerable. You've not got the cage around you protecting you. You're not a car driver. You're not on 4 wheels. You're only on 2. So you're exposed to the elements, and you're exposed to all the other hazards more so than other road users. So really, really important. Element C, module 8, is understanding simulated junctions left and right. And a good CBT, if you receive a good CBT, you should be subject to practicing all 7 options. Now, those 7 options are minor to major, right and left turns, stop and give way. There's 4 there. It could be major to minor, right turn, stop and give way. There's another 2. That makes 6. And it could be major to minor, left turn. There's the 1, 7. So 7 options. And it's demonstrating the system, which is OSM PSL. So who can tell me what OSM PSL stands for? Because that is element C, module 8. The pupil must be able to carry out simulated left and right turns using the OSM PSL. So what does OSM PSL stand for? Really important. OSM PSL. Nearly there, Darren. Not quite, mate. Nearly there, not quite. So how is everybody doing then? Getting all back to normal now, aren't we? Out of lockdown. Getting back to normal. The weather's starting to pick up, which is nice. Getting a bit warm. Cold still in the mornings. OSM PSL. Nanil, well done. Observation, signal, maneuver, position, speed, look. Fantastic. That's what it is. OSM PSL. And you need to be doing that. You need to be applying that when you're out on the roads all the times. When you're out on the roads, always applying it. So good. Well done. And there are 7 options that need to be. And if you don't cover all those, then you're getting a poor CBT, to be honest with you. If you're not getting those, you're getting a poor CBT and you're getting corners cut. I can tell you now. Now, the final module on element C is number 9, because 9 modules, as we said, is the pupil must be able to complete a U-turn. So everybody that I come across, their U-turn, they hear all these horror stories about the U-turn. All these horror stories. It is so simple, ladies and gents. So who's got stories about their U-turn? Who wants me to answer any questions on the U-turn? And get asking away. I think somebody mentioned a bit earlier about the U-turn. So what is the question then? So you're going to move away from the control position. We generally do the rolling U-turn. We try the rolling U-turn. Sometimes people don't get on with it. We'll try the standstill U-turn. There's a little bit of a difference, but a rolling U-turn. Darren has been practicing U-turns on push bike with rear brake and pedaling. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, the back brake drive. It's great. U-turns worry you. Why? What is it with U-turns? Who has fear about U-turns? Let's see. The fear of dropping my bike. Well, it can happen. It does happen. You won't be the first. You won't be the last. But what you must remember is that if you do drop the bike, there is a reason why you drop the bike. So what is that? Is it the clutch coming in? You lose your drive, foot goes down, front brake, not looking where you're going, looking at the curb, looking at the floor, leaning with the bike. Observe, speed, move, position, look. Observation, signal, maneuver, positions. No, nearly, Dave. Nearly, Dave. Not quite there, mate. But the U-turn, counterweight. Who's heard of counterweight? So don't lean with your bike. Can help. You need the clutch on the friction to keep the momentum. The momentum will keep you the balance. Don't close your throttle. Keep your throttle busy. Get all your observations, your life savings, and look where you're going. Keep that momentum going. Failed your first mod 1 on a U-turn. I went into the second look back and leant the bike over to turn. I released the clutch to get my speed back up, but ended up far from the other side. Yeah, not moving yet. These are all, it's only been around the block on my bike because I haven't got the CBT yet, but I don't have a fear of U-turning or slow maneuvers. My fear is roundabouts. Ginger Deman, I have a fantastic video on roundabouts on this playlist. Not on this playlist, on a playlist. Have a look. Roundabouts, cracking one. It's really broken down to be very simple to somebody. That's bad, you know. I've seen it. Yeah, you've seen it. Good man. Well, just follow that. It's good. It's a good video. But yeah, the U-turn. So if you keep the bike moving, don't lean with it. Look where you want to go. Lean your body against it. These are all good little tips. I find with the U-turn, if the bike feels it wants to fall, a little more clutch and throttle. And if you feel that you're going over, ride out of it. Yeah, a little bit of gas, a little bit of drive, ride out of it. Fear will always be there until I actually get on the road round. Yeah, that's it. You need to get out, mate, and get it done. So all of those 9 modules on Element C, very important your instructor gets you through those safely and, you know, not after perfection, but your instructor listen to them. And it's that point there where you've done all that, you decide about going on the road, and then you can practice it even further. And generally what we like to see, I'll say, Element C, finishing that by about 1 o'clock. So about 1 o'clock, then a bit of lunch. And moving on to Element D, which is practical on-road training. So it's classroom-based. Now, Element D, there are 11 subjects. No, there's not. Tell a lie. Element D, there are 14 subjects. So go through those 14 subjects just in titles. The first thing is legal requirements, so it's a two-way conversation. So you can contribute all you need and want to. Module 1, Element D, legal requirements. Module 2, Element D, need to understand the highway code. Now, this is not a test, ladies and gents. The highway code discussion is not a test. The CBT is not a test. The CBT is a course of safety. And the CBT is, you know, as long as we can see learning taking place, we're not there to catch you out on the highway code and stuff. But we do expect you to have a basic understanding of it. You know, you do need to have a basic understanding of the highway code. Otherwise, you're going to have problems on the roads. But remember, it is not a test. We're not there to catch you out. If the bike feel, Jim, feel your pain. Dave Smith, sat eating my dinner, watching out before 6 this morning, and I just, as the show went live. Rob Wolf will be taking my camper van and offering hot sausage rolls at lunchtime in the car park, being as a bribe. Yeah? No. Don't know. We'll taking my camper van and offering hot sausage rolls. Listen, it won't do any harm, will it, eh? Won't do any harm. Don't forget your brown sauce, though, Rob. All right? Brown sauce is a must. Module 3, Element D, discussion on why you're more vulnerable. As a motorcyclist, why you are more vulnerable. Chocky hobnobs at RJH isn't classed as one. No, it's not. Just gets the instructor in a good mood. It's not me that likes the chocolate hobnobs, by the way, but we do have a cookie monster at Manchester. He is partial to the chocolate coated hobnobs. Module 4, Element D, is conspicuity, the need to be clearly visible. An open discussion, two-way discussion on how you can make yourself more visible. Module 5, Element D, why we should pay attention to varying road surfaces. Again, these are all open discussions. Road surfaces play a big part when you're riding a motorbike. You feel how poor the condition of the roads are. Weather conditions and how they're going to affect you. Again, you are going to be exposed to all types of weather, whether it be nice or cold. So discussion on that. And module 7, Element D, is speed, the need to ride according to existing road and traffic conditions. Module 8, Element D, the anticipation of other road users. So open discussions. Module 9, Element D, hazard perception, open discussion. Why it's important to spot hazards nice and early. Got more time. And what about your attitude? Element D, module 10, attitude. You should have a good attitude on the road. You should be cool and calm, not let situations get out of hand. Module D, Element D, module 11, the need to carry out rear observations. So again, open discussion. All these are touching on things that really you should have been discussing during the CBT if you had a good CBT. None of this should come as a shock. Just recapping, referring back to what's already been discussed. Module D, Element D, module 12, the need to adopt the correct position on the road. So what is the correct position on the road on your bike? There's a little question. Who's paying attention? What is the correct road position on your motorcycle? What do we encourage you to ride in? Yeah, well, that's what you need to be worried about. Others, definitely anticipate it. Command position 2. Yeah, command position. Control position is when you're stopping, Neil, but your command position is where you're most visible. Generally, yes, centre of the lane. Centre of your lane. Position 1 and 2. Graham Cook, command position. Yeah, well done, Chief. Graham Cook's in position 2. Yeah, be flexible, though, but we do encourage you to ride in the centre of the lane, but be flexible. Yes, Gingerbread Man. That's the middle, right? Middle of your lane. Yeah, middle of your lane, position 2. If you're turning left, over to position 1, about a metre from the curb. If you're turning right, over to position about a metre from the white line, position 3. But be flexible. The key word is to be flexible. Really important one as well then. Module 13, Element D, is understanding the importance of following at a safe distance and leaving sufficient space. So who can tell me what following distance you use? What following distance do you use to vehicles? Have you got anything that you use at any speed? 2 seconds. 2 cars, what speed? 60 mile an hour. 2 cars if you're stationary. 2 meters, blimey. No, you want 2 seconds, ladies and gents. Only a fool breaks the 2-second rule. And if it's raining, you want to double it to 4 seconds. The only time I would leave 2 car lengths if I'm parked behind a car at traffic lights or at a junction. Okay, so I would always think only a full brakes a 2-second rule, keep it simple, or only, yeah, in the wet 4 seconds. Okay. Now, talking about that road position and talking about the following distances, another quick question for you is, what about your following distance behind a bus or a lorry? So have a think about that one. What would you do with your following distances behind a bus or a lorry? That's an interesting one. What would you do with your following distance? Dave Smith, near to the white line. What do you mean, mate? Increase your following distance. Christopher Cookson. Keep as far away as I can because I value my life, yeah? Probably a bit further behind as they're harder to see around. I try to hang back and get the driver's side mirror so I can get, yeah, good. Increases visibility isn't as good. Well, back ideally so you can see the road in front. Okay, yeah, come back in position 3. Okay, so what I teach, ladies and gents, your following distances shouldn't be any different. So only a full brakes a 2-second rule, or in the rain 4 seconds. But think about that change of position. You want to be able to see the driver in his mirror. Okay, if you can see the driver in his mirror, he can see you. And the problem is, if you go back and back and back to increase that gap, the first guy behind you is going to overtake you and get in the middle. So you end up going backwards again and backwards again. So generally speaking, your 2-second rule should be fine, but change your road position so you can see him in his mirror. And if you can see him in his mirror, he can see you. Yeah, well, you just got to be careful when they turn. Just hang back, mate. Laughing dog, hang back. Don't go up the sides. Just hang back. But that's your following distances and positioning. Right, what about finally then, module 14, element D is riding under the influence of drink or drugs. So, what's the situation there then? It's a bit different up in Scotland, isn't it, Darren? A bit different up in Scotland. What do we know then about riding under the influence of drink or drugs? Just say no. Don't do it. Yeah. So you're a bit different up in Scotland. Yeah, it does reduce reaction time. So yeah, and drugs. A big thing around Manchester is drugs. You can smell it. You can smell people that are on the weeds. What we'd also do with the element D and the observations is talk about roundabouts and your observations on roundabouts, but impairs judgment. These are all good answers, ladies and gents. Well done. But that's a CBT sort of syllabus going through, and then you go on the road for 2 hours, providing that you demonstrate that you're safe. So at this point, generally, you're looking, typically between 1:30, 2 o'clock. Bearing in mind that if you're getting on the road any later than 2 o'clock, then you're going to be on the road at 4 o'clock. If you go on the road at 3 o'clock, you're still on the road at 5 o'clock. You've been there from 8 o'clock. It's a long day, a lot to take in. So I would say that 2 o'clock is probably the last sort of time that you'd want to be going on the road. Mr. Junior, sorry, mate, I'll re-watch it. Have you only just joined us, mate? Hello, how are you all doing? Yeah, Mr. Junior, don't worry. It'll be there for you to view it, mate. It's all about CBTs. CBTs tonight, and we've gone through most of it, but yeah, so all going good. All going good. Element E is the road ride, and the areas that you want to be subjected to on your road ride 2 hours is traffic lights, pedestrian crossings, roundabouts, junctions, bends, gradients, obstructions. You also have to be completing the U-turn and the emergency stop again on the road. So if you're, if you're out on a CBT road ride and you've not done your emergency stop or not done your U-turn, well, that's not a good thing to be. That ATB is breaking the rules. So you must be on the road for a minimum of 2 hours, and you must complete a U-turn, and you must complete an emergency stop. And if you're not getting that, then, you're getting a poor CBT. And the CBT is so important for you guys. And people come to us, they've only been on the road for 20 minutes on the CBT. But the last hour, it's where you're learning and you start becoming a bit more independent. And it really, really does work. So if you come to RJH, Manchester, Wigan or Northwich, I can guarantee you will be getting a minimum of 2 hours road ride. And that's radio contact with your instructor that you've been with all day, and he will then just build up your confidence and make sure that you're safe. But remembering though, it is not a test. It's not a test. It is a course of safety. And the CBT, when you complete it, it is an achievement. So if you achieve your CBT, pat yourself on the back. It is an achievement. There's a lot of people that would like to do it, but they've not got the courage to do it. And we offer CBT, we offer taster sessions to calm your nerves and get you ready before the CBT. And we have people much more successfully pass their CBT if they've completed a taster session. So that's well worth it. But then your CBT lasts you for 2 years. You've got to come back and do another one, or go on and do your full bike test. But that's your CBT training. And it's been a good evening again, and I must thank you all for watching. Just to remind you, the competition we are offering is a free CBT worth £170. Wigan, Manchester or Northwich can be taken up. I do need 100 subscribers before, not 100 subscribers, but 100 people watching the live stream at any one time. And it's probably not going to be tonight, but that's okay. I'll be doing another live stream. I've got one on Friday, I think. And then I'm going to try going to a live stream every Tuesday, see how that goes. Fridays, I think we might be struggling with the weather improving and all the restaurants and pubs starting to open. I think people are going to be getting out. So I'm going to try Tuesday night, give that a few weeks, see how that goes. Or if that doesn't work, then I might go to a Sunday night and maybe a little bit later. So I'm thinking about a Sunday night, maybe at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. So I'm just playing around with the times, but certainly as far as RJH motorbike trainer concerned, we will be continuing with a weekly live stream of various subjects, because the feedback and the analytics are showing us that it is all worthwhile. So if driving a road ride in a test and feeling fatigued because of weather condition, am I allowed to take a break on a test? What I would say is, well, if you're not feeling good, then you do need to pull over. That's part, you've got a duty of care to that, and the examiner. What you don't want him to do, though, is terminate the test. So what I would say on demand is, I've got a great video on the first 5 minutes and the last 5 minutes. And when you go for the test, remember it's 40 minutes. You're going to have about 30 minutes on the test. So what I would say to you is, make sure that you're well fueled up, you're hydrated, so have plenty of water. Make sure you've got a nice breakfast or a nice dinner inside you. Make sure your brain is fueled up, and you should be fine. The road test is only, as I say, it's a 40-minute slot, but you're only going to be on the road 35 minutes. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But yeah, if you're not feeling too good, then yes, pull over. So anyway, I'm almost pretty much done there now, I think. But chart, yeah. So it's me being solo again today, and I will be looking at over the coming weeks doing a live stream with some of the team members. So we'll be inviting Graham, the chief, to come in, and Sylvia at Northwich to come into the live stream, just to make it a little bit more interesting, because I'm sure looking at my face and listening to my voice all the time can be a little bit, you know, a little bit tedious. So getting the other team members involved as well will put a little bit of an interesting mix into it. Would you do a live stream on the motorbike? Yeah, I mean, I think those days will be here, and I don't. I've sort of many years ago when I first started getting into the videos, and I was late getting into it because 5 years ago I got into the YouTube stream. But I do remember thinking about videos sort of 10, 15 years ago. And I always thought then about, you know, there will be a time where you will be able to be live stream on the bike. So I don't think, you know, that's an impossibility. But, you know, I have a lot of videos of me riding on the YouTube channel, which you can play back. But yeah, I suppose the only thing that I would, well, I don't know, the only sort of, because I've got the cameras. The only thing, I don't know about data. I don't know whether that will be a problem. I need to look into it, but it'll happen. I'm sure it will happen. Road situations, yeah. I mean, it's, yeah. Can certainly make a note of it. And so the chief thinks if he got behind the screen, he's going to get 100 viewers watching at once. So Mr. Cook is claiming that he will get the numbers up to 100 at one time watching. So maybe that's a incentive. Malcolm, great chat, Rob. You and the team, give yourselves a pat on the back. Cheers, Malcolm. Thanks very much. Darren S. in that mankini. Yeah, hey, that's it, Graham. Let's get that mankini out. Yeah, Graham could get the mankini out. That would certainly get the views up, I think, wouldn't it? What do we reckon? Who wants to see Graham in his mankini? Laughing Dog, it takes time to grow viewers. People like routine. They do. They do. And that's what we are good at. Or scare us all. Yeah, he might do. All I'd say is if Graham does come onto the live stream and you're and he's in his green mankini, make sure that you've not had your tea. Okay, just make sure that you have your tea planned for later. Because you know, you never know, do you? But it's all good fun. So what I'm going to do then, ladies and gents, I think I'm going to be wrapping up. I wish you all well, and thanks for watching. And I think I will be back on Friday night, 7 o'clock. I think it's a general bike chit chat. There's no specific subject. But next week we're going to try the Tuesdays. So I've got one for this Friday, which I'll keep on anyway. Next week will be next Tuesday, and I think we'll be going back to your module 1s again. So we're going through the motions. And you know, if there is any sort of subject that we could discuss that'll last a couple of hours, or is 2 hours too long, but if there is a specific subject that we can just, you know, want discussed, then let me know. And I know somebody was saying about clothing and equipment and stuff, so that could be an interesting one. Yeah, keep coming back on, keep commenting, and you know, I thank you all very much. So I think that's going to be it for me. Going to go and get something to eat, and I will see you all soon. Okay, ladies and gents. Now, how do I get this on here? There. Just playing around. So, all the best. Speak to you soon. Bye. It's upside. Tell you what, I was struggling with my mouse. My mouse was upside down, and that's why it was going all over the place. I thought it'd gone flipping wild. Once again, everyone, thanks very much. Speak to you soon. Bye.